So here is my project, and I roughly started to work on this project around 1 year ago, and this is the story of my life. Life happens, I abandoned this, and now I decided after 1 year to come back to this project again. So as you can see here, it's just outline on simple A4 paper, and I'm going to tell you my trick if you don't have a printer at home, or if you don't want to go out and spend a lot of money on the kind of library to print the pattern. This is how I do this at home, just from my screen. So, as I told you already before, you don't need to spend a lot of money on the printing, especially if you have a lot of patterns to print in the same time. All you just need to do, you need to put your PDF file on your screen, whatever you're using, screen or laptop. Then you need to make sure that the test square is exactly the amount of centimeters you can see on the pattern guide. And then you just take the paper, you place it on top of the screen, and you outline your pattern. This way it will save you a lot of money on buying new printer, which in my case I need to do it, but I don't know, all the time push this more further and further. So this way it's very comfortable to do on the small garment like panties, bras, or any underwear style. Obviously if you are making more bigger garment like pants, dresses, it will be more challenging, but still doable. It just will take a little bit more time. Now I need to select a fabric I'm going to use for these panties. They're not particularly difficult, but it has, as you can see here, a lot of different elements, and I was building this pattern a year ago and I forgot to make notes which element need to stitch with which element first, what second, and etc. And now I need to figure it out again. And I guess this is going to be the most challenging part. So next step now, we're going to pick the fabric, and then I'm going to make these panties. So finally, if the sizing is correct and I'm happy with the result, then I'm going to start to do my grading, and obviously I'm going to have multiple sizes. So this is basically the test I'm doing all the time before releasing any pattern online. First of all, I wanted to make these panties in the white color. I don't know, I saw it some kind of like a bright marriage underwear. This is when the idea came, but as usual I'm too lazy to retread my overlocker, and simply I decided to go with the black lycra. It all the time saves my ass. But now I'm hesitating between laces. Here I have a black lace, and obviously black with black, it works very well, and it has this kind of silver embroidery on top of that, very beautiful. But when I put this on top, it's a little bit all blending together, and I want this part of the garter to be more present, at least so on this project, so you can see it. And I'm thinking now that I have this black and blue lace, and on top of that it has very beautiful eyelashes on top as well, and I'm thinking this will look very good. It's not blending too much. And now I need to select the elastic. Basically here we will have a garter with small attachment at the end, and for this I think I have a blue elastic somewhere. Let's check it out. Yeah, of course the color is not a match, so do I have another one somewhere here? No. Okay, all the time when you need something you don't have that, but I have a full roll of the black one. So I think, yeah, it's a little bit blending, but still you can see it well because it's a little bit shiny. This elastic will cover this seam because I don't like all the seams to be visible, especially on the garter belt, and I'm trying all the time to hide this behind. So yeah, we have our supplies, we have our picot elastic, which will go around the edges. This will hide the seam, and on top of that, in the back, we have this cutout. We can put a ribbon here or simply the strap. I think it will be the most easiest and wearable solution. Lace is selected. Now let's do our pre-cutting. And yeah, for the gusset, I all the time use this fabric. It's a polyester, but it's a very soft one, and this is one of my favorite. I don't like cotton to use as a gusset, so all the time use this fabric for the gussets. Very good one. By the way, if you want to know more about supplies I'm using on all my projects, sewing machine settings, all this information you can find in my school community, and link I'll drop down in the description box below. Now let's cut everything on the fabric, and for this I need a chalk, I need my pins and the scissors. And okay, I have my chalk, and yeah, I'm old school, all the time outlining. I don't like to place the pattern and cut around, but if you feel more comfortable, then do it your way. Obviously we need to match the scallops, otherwise it's not going to look good. Place the fabric and outline that. So many elements and it's so easy to get lost. Straight away I love to place everything so I see what I have, because as I told you before, it's very easy to get lost when you have so many elements. That's the problem with the lace you have all the time. To position it here, you don't have enough. So basically I need to match the scallops and I need to move it to the place where I can fit it. But then you have all this space which kind of become a leftover, which usually, at least me, I feel too guilty to bin, and in the same time all these start to pile up, and at the end I end up with things like that. And I promise myself every week, oh, I'm gonna finish this, I'm gonna finish this. All the time when I do the cleanup, I'm saying to myself, can't bin it because I promised to myself that I'm gonna finish this. And this is keep growing and growing and growing. So yeah, this is what happens, but I have no choice here, and I'm going to cut this. Actually, 1 second, because I have one more here element which I will need to cut with the scallops, and probably I'm going to fit it and then cut this one. Now everything is pre-cut and I need to come up with the steps how to stitch everything together. Obviously this is my back element. With this back element everything is simple because this I remember. But then this one I completely don't remember. Okay, I think first part needs to be done, and we going to attach all these elements between each other. So basically front element, garter, and the top of the front element. But before, I love to melt everything so everything sits together and don't slide while I'm sewing this on the overlocker. And pinning on top just to make sure. Obviously here on this element we have a V-cut, and here I have kind of like a triangle. While I'm going to stitch it on overlocker, I will need to rotate this place to make sure everything sits nice and smooth. And yeah, I completely forgot to mention that when you outline and pre-cut the gusset, don't forget to put a mark, because while you're assembling everything together, you don't want to guess where is your top and bottom, because as you can see here, it looks pretty much the same. So all the time I love to put marking on top. Because of this, I know how to place my gusset on my panties. Oh, silly me, you know what? I could actually use a white fabric as I was planning, because my overlocker is not thread. Of course, typically me. Story of my life. Okay, I'll do it very, very quickly. At least I'll try to. Done. This is actually a real speed of the sewing, not the same as you can see on the tutorials. Sometimes I wish everything would be as fast as on my videos. But unfortunately, you have something to prepare all the time. Okay, now we need to test everything on some scrap, because sometimes threading can go wrong. Yep. Whoa, what's going on here with the settings? 4. Perfect. No, not perfect, because I forgot to engage the knife. And apparently, because I was cleaning my overlocker, that's why I forgot to do it. A couple of these ago. Come on, turn. Yeah, done. Okay, everything is perfect. I love overlocker after cleaning and threading it. Always sewing amazing. Okay, now this is the part I need to stitch. Of course, what could go wrong? My lace turned on the wrong side. So now my first part of the garter is attached, and now I need to think of what to do next, because this part apparently I can't stitch because it's going to be stitched by the picot elastic. So but first, actually I made a mistake, and now I need to remove all this and start from the get-go, because at first I'm supposed to stitch these elements together and only after these two parts. Okay, happens. Let's remove it back. Okay, I'm going to show you more closer for some of you who doesn't know how to remove the overlocker thread. Let's move our lights in here. So basically overlocker has 4 threads. We need to grab these 2 stitches, which is usually the small threads, and one by one I'm going to start to pull slowly. You don't want this to snap, otherwise it's going to be difficult to grab back again, and you push this way until this thread completely comes out, and then we're going to repeat the same with the other one, and then you will see how easily the rest of the stitches will come out. This is the tricky part, to pass everything. Okay, we are moving. This is the problem when you do project. When you start project, then you leave it for 1 year and you need to come back to it again, because you don't remember things. 1 second, I'm going to just cut out this part, the leftover of the threads, otherwise they're too long and can tangle between each other. I'm not going to cut this video because I want you to see everything. I know how sometimes it can be frustrating when you watch the video and you see all these cutouts and you try to do it yourself, and obviously nothing works as pretty as on YouTube videos. That's why I'm showing you all the process from the beginning until the end, with all the possible fuck-ups which can happen while you're sewing, reaping, or do whatever. So one is gone. Now I'm going to grab the other one and do exactly the same, just trying to take it out. Okay, almost there. As you can see, everything takes time. It's not just a second pulling of the thread. You really need to move it bit by bit, and you see now it's coming out. So now here I'm going to show you the magic. Look, you just grab it and look, bam bam bam, everything is perfectly coming out, and all your stitches are gone. Let's back to the project. Put all these threads back. I need to move lighting again on top of me. Ooh, that was bright. And now I need to stitch first the side elements between each other. So now I need to stitch this and this in the middle. Okay. I'm going to do this side by side. First I'm gonna overlock this spot and then the opposite. I think this will be much more easier to control the fabric while I'm stitching. Okay, one side is done. Yay! Looks pretty. And now I'll do exactly the same on the other side. Don't be lazy to pin everything 10,000 times. It seems annoying, but it helps a lot while you're stitching. And even if you're not confident enough in your sewing skills, then I would even recommend to take thread. Actually, especially I have a lot here, which is going to the bin, and just stitch it by hands. Kind of try to attach all layers between each other, and only then you can sew it on the overlocker or on your sewing machine. This also will help you before stitching to understand if you did everything correctly or not. You can reverse everything on the right side and check one more time again if you're happy with the result, and only then, when you're happy, you can start to stitch. For me, when I was starting, it was the most easiest way to sew. Now I'm feeling more comfortable with the pins, but in the beginning, just to stitch everything by hand using a simple needle and the thread, it saves you a lot of time on the reaping after, because believe me, it seems sometimes like, oh, I don't need to do it, I'm just going to stitch everything, will work fine. But when you start and you mess it up, it takes more time to unreap and do it again. This is just a precaution if you want to sew well. Up, just jumped. while I'm on the overlocker, I'm going to attach my gusset in the same time. Oh, no, that's not happening. Okay, we have a situation here. The bead from the pin went inside of the foot, and now I need to somehow remove it if I will be able to get inside. I mean, really, that's what happens. You all the time record a tutorial and things happen, and you are actually playing with everything rather than sewing. Okay, I've been lucky. Be careful next time. Take this as a lesson. If you do this, make sure that there is no any beads from the pins. Let's put everything back, because if we don't, we forget, and we're gonna search next time, which we want to avoid of wasting the time. So done. So on the pattern, I have a marks, which I put on the fabric as well, and now I'm going to place the gusset on top of these marks and pin it, so when I'm stitching my picot elastic, it stays in the right place. Okay, we are halfway through, and now this is the time for the elastic. As you can see here, this part on the side we have open, because this part needs to be attached with the elastic. So this is how it's going to go, and again, clean up everywhere. If some fabric is coming out, I know when you're a beginner it's very stressful and challenging. You're thinking you're doing something wrong, which you are not, believe me, because sometimes when we are cutting we have a little bit more fabric. You see, I pin here these elements and still lace a little bit coming out. This is not a big deal. You can simply just trim this place. Because fabric is stretchable, obviously when we are sewing this fabric, it's all the time sliding right and left. It's impossible to make it like perfect, and it always will happen. And now it's time of the picot elastic. Need to stitch it here everywhere around the legs hole. But again, I all the time get confused. Do I need to do it from right side or the left? So let's see. Here's the side. So if I stitch it this way, then it's gonna go this way. Okay, it means it needs to be on the fluffy side. Yeah, perfect. So because I want my lace kind of have a clean edge without the overlocker, let's move the line back. And you see, obviously I can use the overlocker to stitch this part, and then I can reverse, but I don't want to have this overlocker seam on the wrong side, because if you look, it's not big deal, but still I want to have a cleaner kind of result in the back. What I'll do, I'll place my elastic on top of the lace this way. I'm going to stitch it, and then when I'm going to reverse and stitch second time, that's what's going to happen. One second. Because it's sometimes challenging to show. So basically, my elastic will be inside. You will see a small scallop edge, but in the back, all the seams and all the mess will be hidden inside. This is kind of a clean technique to attach the elastic. Now I'm going to remove the overlocker. I'll need it, but a little bit later, to stitch the side seams. And now it's time for the sewing machine. Sewing machine, obviously it's more easier to thread. Here. Thanks God I recorded this video because it's going to be my guide for the future tutorial, and it's going to speed up a lot of time as well while I'm recording video, because I don't need to sit and guess what I do first and what I do second. Stitch. Okay, I'm using elastic stitch. My settings, I have a length on the 2.5, I have the width on the 6, and my tension all the time between 2 and 3. This is kind of settings I use all the time when I'm attaching the elastic. Again, width of the stitches depends on the size of the elastic you have. My elastic, this one I have, is around 1 centimeter without the scallops, only the elastic itself. I'm going to show you more close so you understand what am I talking about. You see, this is the elastic, and if you remove the scallop part, gosh, English is leaving me. If you remove the scallops, this part here, it's exactly 1 centimeter. Then we have the elastic like this. It looks more wider if you put them all together, but the wider part, which is the scallop part, and basically we are not stitching on the scallops, we are stitching only on the elastic itself. So obviously here settings, width of the elastic I will set maybe to 5, to the number 5, when here on this elastic I'm using 6.1, something like that. Basically stitches needs to come from the beginning until the end without touching the scallops, only to use the surface of the elastic. So keep this in mind, because if your elastic is thin and you put exactly the same settings as me, then you can say, oh, it didn't work for me. Just you need to adjust it a little bit based on the elastic you are using. Again, when we are sewing, we don't stretch the fabric, we stretch a little bit only the elastic. Otherwise, if you don't stretch the elastic and you just stitch it the way it is, this foot will press. Foot or feet? Foot. Let's call it foot. Sorry for my English, it is not my native language. So basically, it's going to press and stretch everything. Garment will still will be wearable and you can use it, but when you put it flat, for example, if you want to do some picture for social media, or video maybe, depending on what content you're creating, then it will be a little bit wavy and will not really look nice, but still will be very and perfectly wearable. So keep in mind, we don't stretch the fabric, but we stretch the elastic. And again, if you don't know how much you need to stretch the elastic, on my school I have a video and post explaining how to stretch this with the ruler. So basically it's some setup you can do within few minutes, and then you will know exactly how to stretch your elastic and how to stretch it equally, so you don't have the situation when sometimes you stretch more or sometimes you stretch less. So basically join the school, but again, school is only for the active members. Just keep this in mind. So if you enter the school, you need to be present in the life of the community. Now let's stitch. If you feel like something is getting stuck under the foot, because obviously we have a multiple layers here, don't be afraid to pull it a little bit just to help this to start moving back again. And then when you pass this thickness, carry on sewing as usual. What happened here? Okay. The thread decided to give up on me. You never see it on the tutorials, right? I'm not going to cut this video. I want you guys to see all the mess that sewing not sometimes as pretty as we see on social media. So all this will be inside of the footage. I don't know what happened here. Maybe thread got blocked here, or maybe inside. But it happens from time to time. Sometimes actually this is the sign that your needle is dead also. Keep in mind. But I know it's not the needle because I changed it a few days ago. Okay, where did I stop? Here. And if it happens, not big deal, you just start from the place you just finish. Now we are coming close to the gusset, and when we come close to the gusset, we need to make sure that everything stays in place, and at the same time there is no needle on the way of the needle of the sewing machine. Otherwise you can break the needle. This is the best case scenario. The worst case scenario, you can, you know, hurt yourself or damage your sewing machine. So I'm trying to remove them straight away as I pass the place of the gusset attachment where you have the marks. So I'm coming close to the crotch seam. Obviously it's a lot of thickness here because it's 3 layers of the fabric, front, back element and the gusset, and in this place I'm going to pull a little bit my fabric from the back. This will help to pass this thickness and without sewing machine to be blocked on the same place and making multiple stitches. And yeah, one more thing, never pre-cut the elastic, because if you pre-cut elastic and let's say you think, oh, I'm going to need this amount of the elastic, and then you have this left over which completely will go to the bin and get wasted. So I all the time when I'm stitching from the roll. I never cut the elastic, and only then when I finish I just grab my scissors and I trim things I don't need. So here we are. Let's remove all the needles and all the threads because I made a mess here, obviously without breaking thread accident. And now I'm going to show you what I meant by the clean edge. So this is the elastic I stitched, and you see places like this. One sec. See all this excess and mess which is coming out from the elastic, that needs to be trimmed, but be careful, do not cut the elastic. And now miracle happens. You see, when you turn this way, now elastic will go on the side, and we're going to stitch one more time here. But again, as you can see here, look how clean it's going to be. All the seams will be hidden inside. Then we come to the front element. Oh, sorry for the shaking camera, it was just in front of my leg. So this is our gusset. We're going to cover it this way, and it's going to be very clean. And now we are coming to our back element, you see, with the lace. And just look, when you flip it, again, you're going to have a clean edge on the both sides, inside and outside. That's why I love this technique. Now I'm going to do a second part, second leg hole, and I'm going to come back to you shortly. I just been in the middle of the stitching of the elastic, and I realized that this part completely folded this way, and it's supposed to be actually stitched until the end. You see what happened here? If situation happened like this, you don't need to rip everything and start from the beginning. Just align the fabric the way it's supposed to be. So in my case, it's supposed to be here. And you see, just stitch with the straight stitch in this place. That's what I'm going to do now, because I just realized that this situation happened to me. So obviously I need to put my sewing machine to the straight stitch. 1, 2, length, I'll put around 4, and just going to finish this part. Easy peasy. And now back to basics. 2.5 and carry on with the elastic. Okay, both elastics on the each side is attached, and now all I just need to do is to fold this elastic this way and stitch it everywhere on one side and on the other the same. Let's do it now. Okay, here we have a thickness. Obviously we need to help a little bit by lifting the foot so all this fabric is not stuck before the foot, and keep stitching until the seam, but on the seam allowance where you have the seam in this place, just make few stitches to block the thread. Now we cut the thread and do the same on the opposite side. Done. Come in here more closer to show you what I have. Obviously I couldn't carry on stitching in this place because I have a lace and I don't want to spoil this. So what I need to do is to flip, sorry for the lighting, to make sure you see everything well. So flip this part, again flip the elastic and start to stitch everything until the end. I was just stitching and thinking that surprisingly no one is scratching the door yet. And now I'm curious, where is my dog? So I'm going to stitch another side as well, so I'm not going to waste your time on recording this part, and at the same time I'm going to check on Queenie because she's very surprisingly and strangely calm. So what do you think? I just opened the door and you know who was sitting behind, suffering without me? No, my mama left her. Oh yes, oh yes, she was suffering. Are you gonna go down? Are you gonna stitch with me? Say to people hi. No. My sleepy head. Go down. You're not comfortable. Go down. So here we are with our project. And now, is it rolling? Yeah, camera is rolling. Now I'm going to grab the elastic. Elastic usually I use for the strap, and it looks this way. Let's move the light. It's quite thick, strong and rigid elastic. I love this one. Sometimes you can buy the elastic and it's too soft, I'll say, but this one was actually very good. Let's put it flat. I want to stitch my elastic in this place just to cover this seam, and obviously to have here the strap for the garment. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. And you can do it actually using different options and different settings, but I'm not going to be bothered because this is the test garment and I'm going to use the same elastic stitch, the same stitch as I was using for the picot elastic. And actually make sure that your width, if you decide to use the same stitch, is from the beginning until the end of the elastic. Obviously elastic is quite wide, because of this I'm going to use a maximum, and my maximum is 7. And by the way, don't stretch anything, just make sure you hold this firmly, but you don't stretch. Actually, it's a time to go out. Mama forgot. So basically she's sniffing my sneakers, and this she's doing because she needs to go out. So I'm going to attach this one, show to you, and then going to take my dog out. What a horrible master, huh? Sewing and even forgot that she has a dog. this maximum because I don't know how much I need, so I cut as much as I could for the garter, and obviously leftovers also out. And let's see what we have here. So this is our front element, and you see here we have basically a panties, a separate element as a garter, and here I'm going to attach this clip so we can have the garters. And only then, when I finish on this side as well, I'm going to fold these panties face to each other, align the side seams, stitch them on overlocker on one side, on the overlocker, and on the other. And then I'm going to attach elastic here around this cutout in the back element, and only then I'm going to start from that side, go everywhere around, and I'll finish it here. I'm going to keep a free space of the elastic on the both sides. This I will need to attach the ring, and obviously here I'm going to have a strap, but also it can be a decorative, gosh, a bow basically in the back for decoration if you want to attach it with the bow. So this is just the idea. And now a butt master needs to take your dog out. Did you scratch all the walls, huh? Did you scratch all of it? Let's go. Okay, I'm back, and I already attached my second strap. Also, what I did, I attached the elastic in this part here as well. Now I'm going to fold these elements together, face to face. I'm going to pin them, and now stitching. Okay, here we have the elastic. Actually, we have two elastics, one in the back element and another on the front one. Obviously, this place is much more thicker. If you don't lift the foot a little bit, then it's going to start to press. The elastic will start to get blocked here in the beginning, but the bottom, because we have these feet moving, is going to let the elastic to pass, but this one is going to be blocked. And what's gonna happen at the end, we're going to have two elastic not aligned, you know, on the same level, but one more further than another. Because of this, on this place, when this elastic reaches the foot here, usually I slow down, and then I just release a little bit the pressure here. Basically, I lift a little bit the foot and still keep holding my finger here to help to pass it through, so it goes all smoothly. When I pass this place, I usually carry on sewing as usual. Now let's see what we have here, because sometimes even by doing this, it can still slide. It's a very tricky place. Oh, lucky me, it didn't slide. So let's move the light so you can see everything well. You see? Elastic kind of goes on the same level, and if I look here, see, elastic here and here, it's on the same level. So on this side also I need to align these two places and make sure when I stitch that nothing is sliding and moving kind of in the front or in the back. In this place, usually I love to stitch my elastic from the back, because I have this cut out in the back. I place the elastic, keep a little bit free space of the elastic. This will help me later to attach the ring, and so everywhere around, and on this side also I'll keep a little bit of the free space of the elastic. techniques, settings, and everything is exactly the same, like in this part here. Because of this, I'm not going to record it because it's the same. And just to save the time on the video and make it more shorter, I'm going to skip this part. Okay, I want to show you one more important moment here, how to hide the end of the elastic, because obviously you don't want to stitch it this way, and you know, then you attach the ring and here you will have all the mess. So me, what I love to do, I love to put my ring straight away up. One sec. So I love to put my ring, where is it, straight away inside, this way. Then I fold the elastic inside, try to align this place, and only then I fold it and stitching this on top. This way, if we turn on the opposite side, sorry if I'm not in frame, I'm trying to be, and you see how clean this place, there is no all these ends kind of waving to you and saying hi on the opposite side, and obviously you will not have anything scratching your skin either. So this is one of the technique I love to use. Okay guys, my panties are ready. All I just need to do is to attach the garters, and for this I will need to decide where I want them to be, but this is ready. This is how it looks like. My hips are exactly 96 centimeters. I took size M and it fits perfectly. If you love more tight underwear, then I would recommend to take one size down. Or if your fabric is not enough stretchable, then obviously one size up. Basically everything depends on your fabric and what you decided to use for your project. Me, I love to use Lycra obviously all the time to test my garments, or for waist stretch mesh as well. This kind of two fabrics I'm using all the time. But again, if your fabric is not enough stretchable, then I recommend to stick with the size to size, or sometimes even to go one size above. If your fabric, let's say, very stretchable, like four-way mesh fabric for underwear, it's like, I'm gonna show you guys. You see, this kind of fabric, it's like super stretchable. If I would use this fabric, I'll probably go and take size S, because this fabric compared to this fabric, it stretches twice more. But again, I tested this, size is perfect. Now I can go and do my grading. And thank you for watching this video. I'll see you on my next one. Bye.